A very warm good evening. A very warm good evening to one and all who have joined us here for this webinar on neuro meditation organized by Department of Physiology, Government Medical College, Bhavnagar as a part of celebration of International Yoga Day. I would like to invite all the participants who have gathered here. A very warm welcome, one and all. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Chinmay sir, Dr. Chinmay sir, Professor and Head, Department of Physiology, Government Medical College, Bhavnagar, for a short welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Krishna Bhaiya. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Sweta ma'am, for accepting our invitation and willing to join on today's busy day. I also welcome all of you for this 10th International Yoga Day. And the theme of this year is Yoga for Self and the Society. So today we are going to dive deep into the meditation, and we are more than happy when we learn that Dr. Sweta is from specifically India and basically from Gujarat. So we are more than happy. And secondly, why we have started this? Because see, as a spiritual practices, we are doing a chanting, we are doing meditation, but sometimes the mind in the era of evidence-based medicine will not accept that, okay, whatever is written in our scripture are okay or not. So here we have a Dr. Sweta. She is going to take us to the different evidence based on which we will be ready to believe that yes, meditation is working. And then we will also go for it, and we will ask our student to whom we are teaching and our kids also that let's go on this path. Dr. Sweta is also a part of Chinmaya mission. So in that sense, she has a deep-rooted spiritual thinking. So without taking much time, thank you very much, one and all, for joining today. And we will learn from Dr. Sweta regarding debunking myths regarding meditation. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Yogini to give a brief introduction of our resource person for today's webinar. Over to you, Yogini.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. It will be my honor to introduce you, ma'am. Dr. Sweta Adatia is a dynamic and accomplished neurologist currently leading the neurology department at the Caracas Hospital in the UAE with 8 years of experience in this region. She completed her medical degree in Mumbai, India, and followed by a paralytic stroke fellowship in Calgary, Canada. She is a fellow of American College of Physicians, USA, and holds an impressive 13 gold medals in various subjects. She pursued MBA in healthcare at Cambridge University as the founder of a neuromeric assessment program called Future Ready Now, delivered through the Zebra Brain app, and their book on the subject achieved global bestseller on the Amazon. She has delivered a TED Talk on the impact of storytelling on the brain and conducted over 200 seminars on a career design for the students. Her dedication to mastering diverse fields beyond the medicine and neurology exemplify her commitment to holistic well-being and innovation in healthcare. Now over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr. Chinmay. Namaste to all of you. My absolute pleasure being here. Two reasons. One is most of you are medical students or medical teachers, medical fraternity. And of course, I belong to Gujarat. My roots are back in Jamnagar. So we'll make this a little interactive, interesting session. Otherwise, meditation is often not so interesting for a lot of people. We'll try to do a little bit of theory, then we'll do some break because here we can see each other, try to be as engaging as possible. We will have an experience session in the last part or last 10 to 15 minutes. And then, of course, questions, anything is there, just you can shout it out here on the chat. Somebody can help me with the chat. If there is anything in between, please do shout out. If you don't listen, you don't hear, because at my end, I may not be able to see on the chat, etc. Awesome. Very pleased also that so many people are part and interested in this Yoga Day seminar, or this, where the topic is society and self-yoga. Today's session, essentially two things will happen. One is you will understand yourself a little better, how your brain operates, because it's really fascinating, 100 billion neurons, trillions of synapses. If I just take a little pin and give you, the head of the pin itself has 50, 60,000 neurons. The balance machine called cerebellum, each of the neurons connects to each other about 1 million processes or million times within that little area. So brain is so fascinating, it's completely an organ which mesmerizes me. So I often say it's my romance with the brain, but I also joke and I say I'm a brain plumber. My job is fixing the broken brains, which is what my day job at the hospital is. But more than fixing the broken brains, it's always interesting to kindle the normal brains, to try and bring out the physiology. And Department of Physiology is only doing it. The physiology of or anatomy of the brain itself is so interesting that there is lots which can be explored. So I have been very fortunate to have worked under a lot of places, lots of people, lots of back and forth between science and spirituality as well. So I think I'm extremely grateful to all my teachers, where each of my area of life, they have contributed tremendously. There are two kinds of marriages in India, love marriage and arranged marriage. Similarly, there are two careers, love career and arranged career. And mine was a purely 100% arranged career into medicine. Both my parents were medical doctors, got a lot of marks. So what do I do? So just get into medicine. But my condition was, if I don't like, I exit. And my parents accepted that condition. So with that condition, I go into medicine, the routine, 5 years of MBBS, 1 year of internship, 1 year of pre-medicine, 3 years of medicine, 1 year of pre-neurology, 3 years of neurology, 2 years in stroke. And finally, after 14 years, you start to love. So love became, arrange became love. And during my medical school, the only fascinating class, the first class which sort of took my attention, was embryology, how two little cells get into trillions of cellular human being. This was an absolutely fascinating thing for me. And that was sort of an eye-opener for my life into continuing medicine. Today's session, we will try to mix and match a lot of things. A little bit would be theoretical, but very important to understand why we need to understand meditation. And then the second part of it would be a little bit of practice. Now, I want you guys to tell me, any of you has been practicing meditation of any kind? Just shout out, show me a hand up, show me anything where you are practicing. Meditation of any kind. There are lots and lots of meditation practices, lots of stuff around it. Perfect. Yes, Dr. Swapnil. Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody who, and any thoughts on type of meditations? Because today we will try to break it from a neurophysiology point of it. We'll try to see what is best for me as a person or you as a person. We'll try to individualize the experience. Anybody who has some taste of meditation, some exposure of some kind, anybody who has done Vipassana, anybody who has done any other courses? Okay, fantastic. Now, it is almost, yes,
Madam,
thank you. Some more people
can
are
I come
raising.
in?
Yeah, yes, please.
I'm. I can I share my experience now or later?
No, absolutely. Tell me a little bit what you're doing.
I am practicing meditation on the Calm app,
Okay.
and it's a paid and it's a very famous one. And I love doing it. The various exercises, the daily meditation, and also some meditations which I have picked up, like for stress relief and all.
Okay, fantastic.
So
Yeah,
20 minutes, about
people have
15 to 20
downloaded
minutes a week.
Calm. So absolutely. Yes. What is very important to understand is we all at some point in time have tasted meditation. We would have not called it meditation. For example, I'm driving and suddenly I reach somewhere where I was not intended to go. What is that? That is essentially a state. Sometimes, when I'm working, 3-4 hours pass by, I don't realize where the time has gone. What is that? So that is the state of the flow, or state where you are engrossed. Somewhere it is closer to the states that we achieve in meditation. Now, the outcome, we don't call it as a meditation. We don't call it as an outcome of meditation. But then these are the states that we always have just out of our non-realization. Now, many people, meditation has been such a widespread word, everybody is into this thing of meditation. But what is really at the bottom of it? Lots of celebrities, lots of people say, oh, my go-to is always meditation, and rightly so. But what is so much about it is what is very interesting. Now, many years back, if I run back the clock, when I was a young a teenager, I always wondered, why am I born? What is this life about? And especially meditation and me did not go together. So I had a wonderful spiritual teacher from Chenmai Mission, and I used to travel with her a lot. And during that time, her early morning, 4 o'clock, what we call Brahma Muhurat, used to be her meditation classes. And that was all the classes that I would completely bunk. And I would also tell her that I am happy doing horizontal meditation. So when I'm sleeping, 4 a.m. is the time for me to go to sleep, and I don't want to sit and vertically meditate. I don't think so it makes any difference. Years and years and years went by. I would travel extensively with her. There were other talks that I would attend, but would not attend to meditation. And one of the days, and this is her, she would go to various places and she was always into meditation, but I was always skeptical. I always wondered what is so great sitting and doing and just, so-called having a meditation experience. So we both were traveling once in Pune. So there was this center which is not existing anymore. It was called the CHEFR, and they were doing Kirlian photography. So I was always interested in beyond body as well. What is in the energy space? There is an electromagnetic field. Just to give you a simple example, when the star is shining, you can see that the star light is reaching to us. That is the reason why we see that the star is shining. Now, if the star was not shining or there was no light, we won't see it. It is light years far, but we see it. Now, we do not see the light particles because it's vacuum in the space. If I change the medium, then I can see also the particles. Exactly like that. I don't see the energy. I don't this about the energy, because all I see is the physical body or the self. But if we go at the molecular level, every single molecule has an atom. Atom, as you guys all know, it's protons, electrons, neutrons, and the electrons are moving around in an energy. It is just the sort of the movement of it which is producing that energy. And also our great scientist Einstein also said E is equal to mc square, right? Energy and matter are interconvertible. So energy science is a very interesting, very big science, but I did not have any exposure to it as a medical student, never had been to any such place, etc. So this was my very first time I saw this Kirlian photography. What they do is essentially you are sitting there and then a light passes through it and a colored image like that comes in. So there was my teacher along with me, and that was me on the first half right that you are seeing. So the guy just walked out and said, who is that other person? I said, she's my spiritual teacher. And there was a beautiful aura, that beautiful Vibgyor pattern which was seen for her, but I had a lot of white patches. And he immediately said that, you need to work on your energies. And I said, what is the best way to work? And he said, meditation. So that was my first sort of an eye opener, saying that, oh, okay. And then I started to get into more of it. What happens if I change my aura? What happens if the energy is changed? What happens in that field? What is the impact on the physical self? How does it relate, etc.? I mean, now nobody has been doing Kirlian, because nowadays apps such as Orla, etc., are so popular. On an iPhone, you can quickly check your energy. In fact, if some of you have iPhone and if you download it, we can do a pre and a post 10 minutes to see how beautifully the energy shifts, because whatever the thoughts, every single thought that I'm thinking, it is a wave of emotion. Every single emotion that I'm feeling, I'm acting out. So there is a beautiful thing where I am thinking, that I'm speaking my words, then words become my habit or actions, and then that becomes my character. So it all starts with thinking. Depending on how I'm thinking, I can generate and create that rhythm or the image or that aura or an energy field. So that is what is shown here. So I think some of you are interested, please do that before and after. Now, a lot of times we are attracted to something because we hear about it, so there is an insight. So if somebody has gone through that and he or she is talking about it, and then you wonder, oh, I think that applies to me. Sometimes, when you read the posts, etc., in LinkedIn, a lot of people tell that, oh, it was as though, you were writing for me. So sometimes it's the insight which matters, and sometimes it's the pain that you go through. So I would say at this point in time looking back, very, very, very fortunate to go through a severe pain. So I had this young childhood friend of mine, and we were close for 20 years. She was almost like my sister, and then we did our schooling together. And one fine day, suddenly, after 20 years, and 20 years is a long period of time to have an association, we had a sudden, absolute sudden breakup. So there was no rhyme or reason. It was just some flimsy cause, and then the relationship broke. It was a very, very painful experience. In fact, physiologically, they say, and we always think breakup as just this romantic breakup or love breakup, but breakups can also be between people who are friends, who are parent and child. Breakup is not exclusively for this romantic type of relationship. So when this happened, and I was going through all the physiological, trauma, you are feeling emotional, you ask the question, why me? After all those years of trust, after all those years of love, suddenly a small little thing is diffusing this problem, simple, silly looking problem, and then the outcome is a breakup. So it was really bothering me. And in fact, indeed, they say some 18, 19 bones broken. That is the pain, what one can feel when this is happening. So really into that kind of a thing. So that was the time when I realized, oh my God, I need to get out of this pain. And again, somebody told me that meditation is sort of the way out. So with that, I called my spiritual teacher, and she said, finally, after many, many years, I think this is a good realization. And I started very seriously, very deeply taking into what meditation was, because I just wanted to break free. Then obviously, as a scientist, I wanted to understand meditation a little deeper, a little better. By that time, I was already running a lab. So I run a lab called Limitless Brain Lab, where we do a lot of interesting experiment. I had this person who is 26,000 jumps. He's a parachute diver, and not a single time he had any problem, in those 26,000 jumps. So I have this another person who remembers 100 things all at once. We call it Ashtavadhan, like the memory champion. So I was very curious to know how those brains function. Also, I was very interested to know how does it apply to my brain or to a patient's brain or whoever is coming in. So what is the ingredient of that peak performance? Because remember, all of us have the same brain. We are all born with the same. Yes, a little bit of genetic variation, a little bit of epigenetic variation. Our families are different. This is different. But then why some people make it and some people don't make it to success, so-called success in life? So I was very curious, and then I wanted to break free. So that was the time when meditation entered my life. Now, look at today's world. How many of you agree that we live in a constantly pressurized situation? Time is, you're always chasing time, you're always chasing money, you're always chasing health. There's always this lots of things that we have to do. In fact, climate itself, right? In 75 years, they say this is the hottest season of the year. Everything is changing around us. There's so many things which are in our control and so many things outside our control. So what is that ingredient which keeps a person, into a stable state, etc.? So I always was wondering, what are the fundamentals of letting go in the brain? And believe me, understanding of that little thing made a huge difference in my life. By the way, the breakup series I'm going to share with all of you later on, because that's going to come out next week, and little more depth of, how do you go through it? What are the steps, etc. We will be talking about it as well. Now, it is so interesting that once you understand the brain as a basic, then it's like a formula. It's literally like mathematics. You just have to understand the basic formula and everything else is sorted. So let's do this one little experiment on thinking. I'm a great fan of doing it ourselves, because if we don't do it, we never recognize it or realize it and make that knowledge as our own, right? So as I was talking previously, thinking is a very powerful thing. Thinking leads to actions, and actions, not just outward actions, but also in this axis. So I have this mind, brain, body axis. I call it the psycho, neuro, physio, immuno, endocrinology. It's essentially an entire axis which is working, starts with the mind and then flows down into the body. Most autoimmune disease, as we know, most of the psychosomatic problems, as you guys are all aware about, all this is starting with the mind. So let's do this exercise. For the people who have the camera on or also not on, please put your hands together and take your wrists together like this and fold your hands in the Namaskar Mudra. All of you, please do that. And tell me, where are your middle fingers? Yes, perfectly, Jai Prakashji, thank you. Just put your hands like this, and then in the Namaskar Mudra, where focus on the middle finger. Either the both of them will be equal, or one finger will be taller than the other. Start putting in the message, what is it for you? Twinkle, you can also do it, whatever it is for you, Dr. Smita. Try to tell me, what is it? Is it equal? One is taller than the other. For some of you, it will be equal. For one of you, it will be taller or less taller. Just keep it in the, keep me informed. What is it? You can shout out also. You can unmute yourself.
Equal.
Equal. Wonderful. Wonderful. For Dr. Jaiprakash, what is it? Seema. Equal. Okay. Wonderful. Equal. Equal. Couple of more people. Equal. Okay. For people where it is taller, if right or left is taller, just remember that it's taller. Okay. I don't want to know, but just keep it in your mind that it's taller. Now, for all those people where it is equal, remove your hands and pick up any finger of your choice. Right or left. Does not matter. Now make it taller in your mind. Bring the image of that finger and use and keep repeating that image and make it taller. So right or left does not matter. Just think about that and make it taller, make it taller. For the people where it's taller already, try to make it equal. So in your mind, just keep saying it's equal, it's equal. It is not hypnosis, by the way, because this I am no expert in hypnosis. This is a neurophysiology experiment. And very beautifully, even with the calipers, the entire experiment was carried out. And we have been doing it since God alone knows how many ages. And it is such an interesting experiment. So all of you who have not done it, just join your hands and then focus on the middle finger. If it's equal, try to pick up any finger and keep thinking about it. Jaiprakash, you can just remove your hands. Now you can just remove, but in your mind, keep on thinking. In your mind, just keep thinking, pick up that finger, right or left. Very good. I like some of you are just closing your eyes and thinking, which is focused attention. You're stopping all the sensory stimulation from outside. Wonderful. And keep thinking. For a lot of you, I can't see you, so I don't know. All right, when you're done, put your hands back and check out what happened for you. So, and then let me know. Please shout out if that changed for you. Jaiprakash, now you can do it. Seema, you can also do it. Smita also, you can. Did it change
Now
for you?
it's equal.
Now it's equal. So it was taller before and now it's equal. Wonderful. What did it happen for Saloni? What happened for Jaiprakash? Did it change? I think I can see a change. Yes. Okay, wonderful. What did it happen? So 90% of the times you can change the fingers literally like a caliper. You can measure it. Why is this happening? Because you just put the visualization and the picture of it in your mind. Very simple, very simple. Just for a few seconds you thought about it and it's possible. Where an experiment was done where they also measured the body's energies. They actually took up a photograph of the expression of what it would feel like in terms of a higher energy, which you are seeing it as red, and blue as low. Now, if you can see that in anger, most of the times it's above, if I'm angry, I don't suddenly kick. I would like to do that, right? Because all the energy is up here in the shoulder and above or in the arms. So whatever we are thinking is percolating into the body, and reverse also. If I'm changing my body posture, I can influence my mind. I always like to give an example of a Superman. Have you ever seen a Superman like this or, like that? Superman has that amazing body image where he's standing tall, he's standing with a wide chest, because that also indicates the mindset. That also influences the mindset. So mind and body very interestingly connected. So in meditation, very, very important to have a stillness of the body, because your mind will then become still. Very difficult anyways to make the mind still. I mean, look at the number of the people who are moving the cameras, look at the number of the people walking, doing this. Extremely difficult to have the mind's focus and attention, even for few seconds. And that is the property of the mind. Can we measure that? Yes, that is what we have been doing it in our lab. That is what we check for the brain waves and understand, because the pattern of thinking I can only know if I measure the brain waves. That is the only way to measure. And I'll show you some examples of what we have been doing. Coming back to that mathematics, neuroscience is absolutely fascinating. It is a little complex when we go to all the way the brain is formed, etc. But the simple formula is absolutely stunning to understand. If you guys understand this, you are done for life. So listen very carefully to this thing. There are three brains that we have currently as I'm speaking to you. There is a little brain called brain stem. I'm breathing, my heart is beating, everything is happening because of that brain stem. As you go a little above, there is an emotional brain, also called the limbic brain or limbic system. It has amygdala, it has a little bit of connection from hippocampus. You guys are all aware about it. There is a little re-looping which is happening between the basal ganglia. And then you have a little up top called the frontal cortex or prefrontal cortex, PFC. For this class, we will put it as PFC. Now, all the three brains are very active. That is the reason I am alive, I'm thinking, I'm feeling. Now, what is the job of the limbic system? The job of the limbic system is emotional regulation. It attains to all the threats. If, let's say, we bring a tiger here, we're all going to run for life, right? The moment we see something threatening, and not just a tiger, simple messages can be threatening, a simple exam can be threatening, anything. So all the threats are perceived by the limbic system, and then it processes it. So there's fight, there is flight, there is freeze. So many things are happening in that limbic system. Now, the next part is the prefrontal cortex. For us humans, we have this beautiful, beautiful PFC, which works to modulate our fear responses, which works to modulate how we think. All the vivek, what we say, with the discrimination, this is good for me, this is not good for me, I would like to do that, I would not like to do that. All that is coming from this prefrontal cortex. Majority of the people, but that is what the latest report or research has said, that most people currently do not have a well-developed PFC. When I say a well-developed PFC, both the sides left and right are matching. It has a symmetrical connection. That is happening functionally. It is happening. It has all the interconnectability to the anterior and posterior part of the brain, which is right. So all that, but most people do not have that. And that is the reason why we see a lot of people's reaction out in the world. I process emotion and I am reactive is all from the limbic system. And that is one major job of the meditation. It allows us to have this balance. So if my PFC is active, then automatically my limbic will be down regulated. And it is just the reverse. If my limbic is very active, then my PFC would be less regulated. Yes, Dr. Swapnil, you can. I mean, make it interactive because it is not a didactic at all. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Madam, because I'm a physiologist by training, and I would just like to ask you, where did you get this information from that the prefrontal cortex is not developed in most people?
So there are studies which are done on the emotional reactivity, etc. There are studies which says that it is more of a subjective this as well. And then there are many researchers who look into this process of how well or symmetrical the PFC's development is. There are enough papers on it. If you just type on PubMed, you will see those papers. It is very interesting to note these fundamentals because that is what also we are seeing as outcome in the world, right? People who have very well developed PFC would be very rational in their choices, would be very calm and centered or focused to the attention or the goal that we are. And that is exactly what peak performance studies are all about. What does the peak performance study says? Having a symmetrical right and left functioning, having interconnections, which are all what we call the complex network system, which is working well, also having the right type of modulation of the waves, all the four waves, and we'll talk about it a little later. Now, mind is even more complex. So we're talking about the brain, but mind is slightly more complex and still unfortunately, we do not have a common model for the mind. This is just a very, very subtle, rough, proposed model of the mind. How many of you think that mind is only in the brain? Just raise your hands. How many of you think that just mind is just limited to the brain? Or who has, anybody want to put your thoughts on? Yes. Do you think, Jayesh, mind is only limited to the brain? But then, suddenly if I'm thinking about something right now, a holiday of Switzerland, my mind is already there. I'm already thinking about all the things that I'm going to do in Switzerland. Where do you think the mind is? Mind is the most fascinating thing, it's been, and we know that it's a continuous flow of thoughts, but is it just limited to the brain? Is it outside the brain? Anybody would like to tell me?
I think mind is a combination of heart as well, what we think as emotions, heart
Mhm.
feeling, and the brain.
Okay, so you think
So
it's a
combination.
combination of both the things. Fantastic.
Hmm.
What else is other people's opinion? What is mind?
Madam, I saw one talk by Antonio Damasio,
Mhm.
and he said that the mind is that the like consciousness or is in the brainstem or like that. When you wake up in the morning, all these centers get
So that is consciousness.
activated.
We are not even going to consciousness. We are just talking about the mind. Mind is a continuous flow of thoughts. But where is the location of the mind? How many types of minds are there? Mind is very, very interesting, from a perspective. So as of now, if we want to make it simple, we can say brain is the hardware. And as somebody was telling, mind is a software. It is just processing through the brain. So you need the brain as an output. But then mind's input is not just limited to the brain. Mind is an all pervading thing. And then, of course, consciousness, we are not even touching consciousness because that's a big plethora of things that we will open up from the consciousness. Now, conscious mind is when I'm talking to you. That is what is coming into my immediate, I would say, effect where I can communicate. Whatever my thought is right now is my conscious mind. Subconscious is little deeper. It is running through a rhythm called theta. It is 95% of the mind is subconscious. That's what the mind model says. 5% is conscious. And conscious, when I say, is also rational, reasoning, intellectual processing, has 5 to 7 bits per second of the processing. Subconscious mind, even deeper, about 11 million bits per second is what it can process. Now, that's a huge, huge, huge information which is coming in. And my first exposure to the subconscious mind was when I attended Dr. Brian Weiss's session, and we did some past life regression, obviously not into past life, but into my own birth. So it was a very interesting session where, I said, maybe my parents are confused between my date of birth between 28th and 29th. And we were just joking and laughing and say, okay, let's go into the subconscious, into the hypnosis with a method and try and figure out if that is true or not. And I thought it was a joke because as a critical neurologist, I feel that remembering such far out is almost next to impossible. Now, that is my conscious mind speaking, that my memory is only limited to X digits. My memory only has a certain function to do. So we did this as an experiment. I was in New York. It was a beautiful center called Omega Healing Center. And we were just sitting, and we had a couple of other friends also from different fraternities. And Dr. Brian Weiss specifically, he knew that I'm a neurologist. And then I went and did this experiment, and literally like an HD movie recorder, I saw the entire birth process, my own birth process. So what the room was, what was the gynecologist looking like, what did my grandmom bring, what was the room's structure like, etc. Next day when I called my mom up in India, and she was shell shocked because everything I could narrate absolutely A to Z, from what she was wearing, etc. And also this is where everything, all the 11 million bits per second are stored inside. But my conscious processing, I'm not using that, which is a very, very interesting thing to understand. Now, all of this is very well studied to some extent when it comes to meditation, or how do we train ourselves to get a subconscious access? How do we train ourselves to have a better PFC? How do we train to down regulate the limbic system? Because that is all that we need. Technically, we just need that happiness. We are all essentially looking for all one goal. We may feel, oh, I want a professional success, I want an X success. Anything which is wanting, it all boils down to I wanting to be happy. It is about my happiness. And that is what is the goal for pretty much all the entire 8 billion people who live on this planet Earth. So this beautiful book brings out all the factors, how the brain, etc., is, what are the changes, physiological changes, structural changes, chemical changes, what is happening in the brain. Now, we were talking about the 4 fundamental waves. I'm sure you guys are all aware about. When I'm thinking continuously, that is beta, that is the fast rhythm. When I close my eyes, that's alpha. When I go a little deeper, it's a slow rhythm called theta. And when I am sleeping, it's delta. So there are these modulation of the waves happening every day. Most people, again, if you observe in an entire day life, how many of us, and I want you guys to raise your hands and commit to this answer, how many of us spend even 5 minutes in the state of alpha? Where I'm just closing my eyes, I'm relaxed, and I'm generating alpha. Most times we are continuously on our phones. Stimulations are coming. constantly attending to something, it's always beta, 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 which is firing. Very few people actually, and that is what I love about certain cultures. You pray 5 times. Fantastic, because that is why you can close your eyes and at least have that alpha. Why is this important? Because there are modulations of these waves which is allowing the brain's chemistry structural wise to change. Modulation is extremely important. Gamma is found in many, many meditators, in monks who have done for a long time. Gamma is a beautiful wave. Once you have gamma, your learning becomes very quick. You get insights, your peak performance is there, your experiences are beautiful. Happiness and bliss, what we talk about, can be achieved. Cognitive fluidity, the way you can learn things. And learning, we think, is all about, opening a book and learning. There's also something called the intuitive learning. There's something called local learning, global learning. I don't need to be just understanding by my own learning. I can also have that osmosis, so to speak, that delivery of the knowledge, etc. So all this, and previously in our scriptures, in the ancient Indian texts, if we read, all this has always been explained. So that is all coming through the gamma. So in our lab, we do this QEEG, and which gives a beautiful insight about what the baseline brain is. In fact, when I was going through the pain, I was going through the process of separation with my childhood friend. She was also going through that. Of course, both of us were going through it in the same period of time. We did my brain scans multiple points in time to just understand what is that limbic firing like, what are the brain circuits like, what is happening neurochemically. Most people who are into the meditations, also there is symmetry which is seen. There is, of course, changes with cognition, changes with mood, etc. what is found. So this is just a quick snapshot of how a QEEG looks. Best is also to have a functional MRI, a PET scan, but obviously those are all very cumbersome. You need a lot of help in that. It's expensive to do, etc. But then QEEGs are simple scans. So this is one of the scans which we did where if you look at the beta, I just want you to focus on the high beta. In the right-hand side, you see the high beta as light yellow, and the scale goes like that. Anything red is high, anything blue is low. This is the standard deviation of the scale, which is used for the purpose of this scan. It is adapted from a standard database called Neuroguide. So it's a very standardized way of mapping the brain. Now, in the high beta, beta is a very high frequency rhythm. This was done only after one single humming bee or Brahmari pranayam. There was a huge shift which happened in the beta. If you're seeing here on the right hand side, which was red, more red, which means hyper focus, hyper attention, concentration, and at the same time there was slightly down regulation of alpha, which means you are relaxed also at the same time and you are hyper focused. So that is what Brahmari gives us. That is what the humming bee technique gives us. Very, very simple, but very powerful. And this was only by one single Brahmari. Yeah? So I think let's do one session of Brahmari to understand how to do it and the best way to do it. Very simple. You have to just sit straight, taking a nice deep breath, and as deep as possible. So what we call the diaphragmatic breathing, not the superficial chest breathing. Taking a nice deep breath. And when we say the word king, that palate, that is what you will use, the part of it. As long as you can. You all can do it together. You can unmute yourself. So take a nice deep breath. And as long as you can do, if you practice, you can prolong it to the best possible. This is a very, very simple. This was exactly what was done in this experiment. And you are seeing the change. Automatically, you can feel also that concentration. You can feel that focus as well, what is happening. Okay. If you guys want to try, then you can just unmute your audios, sit straight. Take a nice deep breath, and a few of you can unmute your audios. Let's see if we are doing the sound. Some people like to close the ear the tragus, which is fine. Some people like to put hands like this. It's all right. The idea is that vibration that you're producing, the rhythm that you're producing is very, very important. Exhalation. because exhalation is giving rise to vagus. We all know the power of vagus, the parasympathetic system. So it's all physiological again. Yes, let's do it. Yeah. If you can unmute, then I can listen if you're doing it correctly or not. Yeah. Just doing this for 5 or 6 repetitions, your exams, and there are, yes. Fantastic. Try to push as long as you can. Try to pull it and try to practice it 4 or 5 times. Fantastic. So that's the sound that you should hear. There are enough, if you search humming bee practice and outcome on hypertension, on type 2 diabetes, on strokes, post-stroke recovery, etc. There's a ton of papers on it. It's all published on, and you can see an n number
Madam,
of, yes.
If we practice regularly, like what you said, that is high
Yes.
beta. So if
Yes.
we meditate, it should go into gamma.
So
You mean to
here,
say that?
when you meditate, you will produce theta, and then over a slow period of time, gamma will come in. But breathing
Okay.
practices are also very, very powerful. You cannot discount over breathing practice. That
Okay.
should be a part of your life. So here, on your left side, this is exactly after 5 minutes of meditation. So today, let's say we hooked any of you up and we did a 5 minutes of meditation. This is what you will find. So you see the theta here, which is red and yellow. And after 5 minutes, this was one of my colleagues' scan, and look at the theta here. Theta just, increased. Now, repeated, doing over and over again. These are the amplitude or the power of these waves is permanently formed. So then you are able to modulate in the brain circuits well. The connectivity is improved. Both sides of the brain are talking to each other.
What does this
Symmetry
blue
is there.
color indicate?
The blue color is the frontal. This is because it's a linked ear. We don't much bother about it. That's
Okay.
a little bit of an artifact. But what is important to check is this. So that is what we are focusing on. If we remove and we make it Laplacian, a different montage, that blue color will
Okay.
disappear. It is because it's a linked ear montage. So
Okay.
that is what is seen in the theta. Okay. So immediately 5 minutes post the session of the meditation, there was a huge change in theta. Doing it repeatedly, it's gamma. So coming back to what is really meditation, there is no universal definition as such of meditation, which is very interesting. And that's why, there's ton of meditation types. And it is very important for us to understand that what is all of this doing. Essentially, all of this is trying to understand and make me as sort of the focus of attention as a self and trying to understand my mind and brain better. So you can see the different types, Namantra Dhyan and Nidra Dhyan, Yoga Nidra. I'm a great fan of Yoga Nidra, Transcendental Meditation, Kundalini, Arupa Dhyan, Bhava Dhyan, Sankalpa Dhyan. There's just so many of them. In the neuro meditation, they've published 4 types of the meditation. One of them is for focus. Second one is for open heart, which means compassion and love. The third one is mindfulness, and then quiet mind, which is sort of producing all the waves. Now, we have also worked on it, and I will share with you on the chat here, or Dr. Chinmay will share. I think, Dr. Chinmay, you can share that, where you can understand your brain type and or your type of the meditation, which will suit to your brain. This is just a very quick understanding of, because you don't want to get bothered by so many things around you. You start somewhere and then sort of build your practices. Yes, Doc, please jump in. It's
Madam, reading about John Kabat-Kim, who has
Yeah.
done so much work on mindfulness, I thought that maybe mindfulness and meditation were more or less the same.
Precisely. So it's a very, meditation is a very umbrella word. So a lot of things are part of it. So if we talk about transcendental meditation, mindfulness, now not many people understand from meditation. So we're talking of mindfulness. So it's somewhere the boundaries are very narrow. It is not a very watertight this of it. So for example, the one that I'm showing to you here is my score, where most of it is related to mindfulness. So my meditation, the type for my brain is more mindfulness, where I have to be understanding my sense, and then, it will slowly reduce my anxiety, etc. It's very subjective. The experiences can also be subjective. Experiences can be variable. And that is the reason why a lot of studies have seen all the connections, what is happening in the default mode network, salience network, what is happening with the amygdala. Amygdala is the main structure of the limbic system, which is actually fired. And most of the times amygdala hijack happens. So in our life, we get so much emotionally boggled. So that is what it works upon. But all of them have shown one or other beautiful results. For example, this is a paper which showed alpha, increase in the alpha power. Substantial increase in the alpha power after meditation for, I think it was a 12 days of continuous meditation, which was done in this paper. This is from a paper from Harvard where the limbic system was shown to have down regulation or reduced activation after continuous meditation. This is my scan, which is suggestive of alpha peak. So you can actually, and alpha peak is very important for cognitive fluidity, for learning things. The more the alpha peak is, we know 8 to 12 is alpha, 13, 14, 15. It helps us to generate better learning capacities and cognition, etc. With meditation, you can bump it up. You can actually keep following it. You can tangibly make a difference. This is all the complex things which are happening in meditation. But if I were to summarize, what is happening is there is a lot of GABA which is formed. There is less of glutamate or less excitation of the limbic. And because of the parietal lobules, inhibition of that, I'm feeling the experience, etc. Now, these are the neurobiological changes. Of course, this is another paper which is about amygdala, where the reduction in the blood oxygen level dependent, was found in the bold images, reduction of that in the amygdala. There is a paper which is suggestive of stalling the age. Every day we are losing a few thousand neurons, whatever we do or we don't do. So meditation can stall that age-related degeneration. There was one monk called Mingyur in the Buddhist, which was studied and followed up for years long, where his age had 10 years of a gap between the normal cohort or the other people as controls. So his brain was actually not degenerating because obviously he was into the space of meditation. Telomeres have been shown to have an influence. We all know telomeres are responsible for aging. So all this, and then there are lots of papers. I think you guys are all part of medical fraternity, so you know that there's lots of work in the space which has happened. Lots of anecdotal this also, where people have had changes in their autoimmune status, psoriasis, etc. But what is important is, of course, we know the chemical history of it also, what is happening, and now we know that the switch, all that we are trying to do is the switching between the two parts of the brain. Cardiovascular benefits, health benefits, the vagus nerve, vagal tone enhancement, parasympathetic, all this is absolutely brilliant. But this is, if you measure it, and I love doing this because if you measure it, you definitely can manage it. All the people whom we have followed up in our cohort, in the lab, whom we have followed up, everybody eventually had a very high beta, very high theta, very high alpha, very high gamma. And this is what we found. The first set of the people did for 45 days. Second set of the people continued for 90 days. The third set of the people continued for 1 year long. And as the consistency of the practice increased, this is one of my teacher's scans as well, who has very high gamma, if you are able to see it here, very, very high amplitude gamma, very high amplitude beta, very high amplitude this. What essentially this means that the brain is optimally charged. It is working at full capacity. Connections are happening very well. There is this rhythm of understanding of the cognition, of the emotions, of the regulation, which is happening very well. I'm not going to go into the chakra or the energy part of it, but yes, all of us know this 8 parts, right? Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana, and Samadhi. This is the beautiful, beautiful, the Ashtanga yoga, what we say. These are really the 8 things which are very, very important in our life. But let's focus, since we are talking about meditation, I want you to experience it and taste what I'm telling. So last 10-15 minutes, we will do this experience. Now, if you ask me that I'm not a meditator, I have not been doing anything, same thing which was for me for years back, what is the first thing to start? First thing to start is the motivation, that why am I doing? The very first thing is you need to be convinced that, yes, this is the emotional regulation that I desire. My PFC needs to grow. I need to learn fluidly. Happiness is what I'm chasing. Bliss is what I'm looking for. Then this is for you. Breathing is the first step to meditation. Before even going to that meditation, I think and that's why I've made a simple acronym, BMW. Start with breathing. Pick up any technique. Most of the techniques are beautiful. I like personally Ujjayi or victory breathing. That's also again from the palette, but pick up anything that you like. Keep practicing it 10 to 15 minutes every day. Now, breath is the only bridge to the mind. If I want to sense and experience who I am and what my mind is doing. Now, we never say I mind. How many times have we say I brain, I mind? We never say that. We always say my mind, because I am distinct and separate. I am that witness to that mind. And that is what the entire purpose of actually having this meditation and all these practices and exercises is all. So breathing is the first step, then going on to mindfulness or meditation and trying to become the witness. I call this the freedom method. Literally, all slowly and steadily, as you keep doing, you will see a big change in your life. And I'm a great believer that not just the physical well-being, the mental well-being, or the emotional well-being and the social well-being, absolutely people can start seeing a difference. Even not just you, but people can also start seeing the difference. Now, meditation is only way to reinforce this witness. That is the only way how we become the witness. Now, most times people say, but when I start to meditate, I feel thoughts are coming and I can't make my mind quiet, etc. and all. Today, I'm going to give you a glimpse of two types. One is relaxation, or also body scanning, and you will see how what your mind is doing, etc. if you have never done. And the second is I'm going to give you a little glimpse of what I call the mind board meditation, where I will bring some components of compassion, gratitude, and some component of mindfulness. So we will try mix and match all out of the 4 techniques. But if you do the typing, which will be put up in the chat, please do that typing, because that typing is very important. What you need as an individual person, what kind of meditation you should focus on. There are some audio versions, there are some passive versions, there are some active versions, doesn't matter. Please understand, meditation does not mean relaxation. It's a byproduct. It is just a product that it is making you relax. It does not mean stopping to think. Mind's property is to think. It's a continuous flow of thoughts. So don't think you can pause thinking, you can stop thinking. None of that is going to happen. Some blue light, purple light, yellow light, if you see, well and good. If you don't see, do not be hooked onto it. That is not the purpose of meditation. Sitting does not matter. You can reel down, lie down, your back pains, you feel uncomfortable, does not matter. Yoga Nidra is often lying down, so it really does not matter. What is important is to try to work on the mind. Now, remember, you are trying to work on something which is very powerful, which is very, very, so let's say you were trying to wrestle, you are not a wrestler, and you are trying to wrestle with something like sumo or somebody. What will happen? You will get hurt in the process. You will fall down. You will have problems, but that should not stop you, because it is the consistency in the end which will be responsible. Most things that I showed you, the switch that happens, the PFC symmetry, the gamma waves and all, it is after long, many years of practice. However, quick changes are seen in 45 to 90 days. So if even that much practice is taken, very likely that you will continue doing that practice. The second meditation I am going to do is this mind boarding meditation. I will be talking, very soft music will play at the background. All you need to do is just follow what I am telling. It will be a 5 plus 5, 10 minutes meditation. What we will do in that is we will assume that there is a board. Okay, assume that there is a nice little board and there is like a bullseye. The bullseye, what you see in the shooting ranges, etc. Center of the bullseye is where we will park compassion, gratitude, and then if your mind does not follow, suddenly my voice is coming, but your mind is going elsewhere. Some thought came in, oh, I need to prepare that. My maid is not here. I need to go to the bank, etc. Park it on the outer rings. use 1 ring, 2 ring, 3 ring. It's completely up to you. Park it there. But again, when your mind is there and come back, go and focus again on the bullseye. So we keep trying to bring the mind back and focus, bring the mind back and focus. A lot of people do it with candle, tratak, this, that. These are all concentration meditations. But what I'll bring in is a little subtle component of compassion, gratitude, etc. as well into the thing. So I think with that, let me just very gently play the music. I want you guys, any of you, to tell me if my sound is audible when the music is also played, because it's very important for you to listen to my voice along with the music as well. Okay. Let's see. Let me first go there. Okay. Let me make this sound. Okay. Are you able to hear me?
No, we can hear you, but not the music.
Oh, you can't hear the music? Okay.
No.
I can hear you, but not the music.
Okay. Can you hear me now and the music both together?
No, ma'am. Music
No.
is not audible.
Music is not audible. Okay, then we will do it without the music. Okay, so you will just listen to me, all of you. All right.
Madam, can you
And
just
let
try
me
the
just put a
setting?
stop share.
Music?
Okay. I want you to sit very straight. That's the first thing that we learned, that my mind and body has a direct connection. The first part, 5 minutes, we will be
Madam,
doing
can
the
you
body
tell me which
scanning.
music we
And
can
second
start?
part,
We
we
can
will be
start
doing the
on the
mind
laptop.
boarding. Take a nice deep breath. Sit straight. Close your eyes very gently. And very, very, very gently, let's focus on your forehead. I want you to put all your attention to the forehead. Is there some pressure in the forehead? Is it light? Is it feeling stressed? Is it feeling heavy? I want you to understand and feel what is going on. After that, go to the back of your head and try and feel what is happening at the back of the head. Are you feeling stressed? Is there some tension? Are you feeling heavy? Just note all of that, because this is just a scanning practice. I want you to just have that little scanning to understand how your body's emotions are stored, what is happening there. Just keep doing that. I'm going to play a very mild music here. I hope you can hear my music as well as me.
Music is yet not audible.
Okay, now I want you to go to the trapezius, or your back of the neck and the shoulder. Try to feel the tension or the stress. Come back to the front of the arm, particularly your deltoid and biceps, front of the arm. That is, just feel if you have any stress, tension, any kind of issue that you are facing there. Try to now go to the forearm. Try and feel if there is any tension, any stress in the forearm. Just note that mentally in the headspace. Go to your palm, front of the arm, palm, back of the palm. Very gently now focus your attention on the chest. What is happening in the chest? Is it heavy? Is it light? What is the sensation that you're getting in the chest? Follow that sensation. Just go a little bit down is your abdomen. Try to focus on the abdomen, both inside and outside. Try to listen to your organs. Try to feel what is happening in there. Is it tight? Is it not happy? What is going on? All the chemical reactions, the bowel is moving. Lots of things are happening inside the bowel. Try to get connected to it. Try to make a note of what is happening inside. Feel that. Attach that note. Understand that what is going on. Go a little deeper to your lower back. Your lower back is the core muscle, core strength, where you are actually sitting. All your work, everything is happening from the core back. Try to attend to it. Is it stressed? Is there some tension? Is there some stress there? What is happening there? Try to connect to it. Often your body can speak to you. It's just about your awareness. Try to go a little down, gluteus muscles, where you're sitting. Try to focus. Try to see if they are stressed, tensed. Just go a little more down to your thighs, front of the thighs, back of the thighs, both the knees. What is happening with the knees? Try to see if there is any internal damage, if that's not feeling well, if there is some stress, tension, strain that the knee is feeling. Go a little down to your shin, to the back of the legs, calf muscles, both the calf muscles. What are you feeling there? Please keep noting as you are doing the scanning. Try to feel that muscle, try to see that muscle, try to have an understanding of what is happening in the muscle. Is there some tension, stress, strain? Most people will be able to figure out where their tension or stress or strain is. This is very, very important because then we can know what is going on in their emotional journeys and life as well. Go further down, both the ankles. Are they relaxed? Are they all right? Go a little down in your dorsum of the foot, both the foot. What is happening with them? Soles, both the soles. Any strain, stress, not feeling well. Please attend to those stimuli. Right from the forehead until the soles of the feet. You have just now done the scanning. Feel that scanning, understand, relate. Wherever there was tension, make a note, make a mental note. We will revisit that later on. Make sure to make the note of that muscle which was not properly functioning. Very gently run like a scanning machine that you run across an internal scan right from your forehead to the sole of the feet, again back to the forehead. Get your attention to the most stressed or tensed area that you felt. If it was back, take your attention back again there. Try to connect to that stress and tension which was there. Wherever there was tension, wherever there was stress, please try and connect to that. And now imagine a white light, absolute brilliant, full bright light, almost like a lamp worth halogen, like thousands of watts. Just imagine it to be extremely bright. You can also imagine a sun kind of a shining object which is throwing that light, absolutely bright white light which is coming and releasing that stress. Get to that light. That light is helping you relieve that stress, the strain, whichever part of the body that you felt. Now keep that light in mind. The next time when you feel stressed, you feel tensed, just close your eyes, scan yourself, and bring that light back to help you. It will quickly make you heal that part of the body which is stress, in strain. Now, very, very important, I want you to imagine a big board in front of you, a very big board. Make it colorful, make it anything, make it black and white. I completely leave it to you. It's a huge board, and that is your mind. You are watching your mind. A beautiful big board is there in front of you, and that board has the bullseye. Imagine a bullseye, different colors, does not matter. The center of the bullseye is nice golden, bright golden for all of us. And then there are rings around it. Rings can be purple, yellow, silver, does not matter. Try to at least imagine 7 or 8 rings around the bullseye. The center of the bulls, nice, bright, absolutely brilliant golden in color. This is where we will put us, the people around us, our society. Just imagine all the bonds that you have, your relationships, your relationship with your mother, father, brother, sister, your friends. Imagine all the relationships. Put all of them in that golden bullseye. Just imagine that they are all in the journey with you. Just imagine the college that you are working for, the society that you're living in, the city that you're living in, the country that you're living in. All of that is within that bullseye, absolutely bright, beautiful, golden in nature. Now, I want you to imagine that a beautiful, absolutely healing, compassionate, empathetic, completely pure energy is released from your heart. It is full of gratitude, gratefulness that you are here on this planet Earth. You have everything that you need. You are in the perfect shape of health, wealth, and you're giving out that to the entire society, to the entire nation. You're completely filled with love, compassion, gratitude, gratefulness. All of that is going to that big bowl, the golden white bullseye at the center. Focus on that energy, focus on that. You can also imagine as a light. You can also imagine as a hose pipe. You can imagine however you like, but that's what you're giving out. That's coming from your heart and up to your mind board, which is at the center, a beautiful, bright, golden, yellow light. Any other thought? I know thoughts are coming. Thoughts will come. Park it in those external lines. Park it in line number 2, line number 3, line number 4. Just keep parking them. The moment you have parked, come back and bring your thought back to the golden, yellow, bright bullseye at the center. Remember, this is your mind. You're watching your mind. You are the witness to your mind. Beautiful. Carry on. Keep watching that bright, yellow, wonderful light which is there in the center. Keep your focus and attention on it. Absolutely still focus onto that bright, golden, yellow mind board of yours. Give all the compassion, all the love, all the empathy, all the trust, care, because all of this is going to come back to you. Whatever you're giving it out, give it out with full empathy, full love, everything that you can. This is all a part of you which is going to echo back. This is what you're giving to your society, to the nation, to the world, to the planet at large. Park all the thoughts which are coming out away in the circles outside. You're doing great. Try to expand this golden center and the bulb that you just saw. This is such a beautiful golden center that you just saw. Try to expand it now and cover up the entire rings that we just spoke about. Try to expand it, expand it, expand it, and try to fill as much space in the room as possible. Imagine whatever the room that you have, the entire bright yellow, golden globe is now filling that. That was the bullseye, and now the bullseye is only filling the entire room. Once you have done that, please remember this. This is your room, your space, your mind, where you can project all the love, empathy, compassion, care, trust, honor, respect, whatever that you want in return. This is where you park it. Very slowly, gently, bring this globe small, 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 small to the size of a coin. Make this to the size of the coin, which you can put it in the pocket. Now remember that this is a very easy, simple way that you projected your mind, you grew it big, and now you're also collapsing it, putting it into the pocket with a small little coin. It becomes the size of the coin. It is accessible to you. Anytime you can use it. The time you want to just sit still, time you want to just feel, just open up yourself and bring that coin, make it bigger and project it. I want you to stay just with that coin for some time, because that is your mind in your pocket. Let's put it that way. And very slowly, once you have done that, take a nice deep breath. Absolute deep, deep, deep breath. Try to bring all your attention, focus, whatever you are thinking, back to your breath. Deep breath. Couple of times. Beautiful. As deep as you can. Absolutely deep. And very, very gently bring your arms and palm together. Rub them. And put it across at your eye. And gently open your eyes very gently. Do not force. If you want to stay in the same this, it's all right. Gently, very, very gently. Going into meditation is one thing, coming out is another thing. Please always take the help of your breathing. Make sure that you are going in and coming out in the correct fashion. You want to do it right. You want to do it appropriately. You want to do it correctly. Perfect. Beautiful. I could not see a lot of you. I'm sure some of you were doing it, some of you were not doing it. If some of you are still in this, take your time. Very gently open your eyes, open your camera so that I can see that you're out. Use any process, any meditation guide. It just does not matter. If you typify it, it's much better. I'm going to put it on the
Madam, I'm not able
type
to.
of your meditation, which is either focus, mindfulness, spiritual, or it can be a mixed and combination of body scanning relaxation that I just made you do. Pick up anything, does not matter. Do it consistently. That is what matters. So with that, Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. Dr. Chinmay, have we been able to post it on the group, the type of meditation?
Yeah. Yes, I had posted.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to stop this. Just give me a moment. Okay, perfect. All right. Yes. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
If
you.
if any of the participants have any questions, you can put it in the chat box.
By the way, we did 15 minutes. We didn't even realize that, right? We promised for 5 and 5 and it went on for 15. The time often collapses if you do it right. Okay. Thank you so much for all of you who have been writing on the chat. Thank you, Jai Prakash. I know you were doing it very well. Thank you for the interaction. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So there is this.
I have again shared the form, and let me interrupt in between. That this one an excellent experience. It is proved by because it's 1.5 hour we have started, and still we can see the participants are there. Not too much have left, and that is also suggestive that it was so much of full of experience as well as so much of support.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me
regarding
this
this chat
opportunity.
form.
Any questions? Anybody has any experiences to share? Last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And if
And
you
madam,
want to
you
do your
explain
brain
anything
scans
regarding this form?
also, very welcome. Yes.
So I would like to invite Dr. Twinkle Raj for giving the vote of thanks. Over to you.
Yes, so content will be shared. What I'm going to do is, if you can just take up this particular, I'm going to share one QR. So if you are part of this, we can share all the content and pretty much everything that we do. So I'm going to share, yeah. So whoever is interested, please join. This is a lab event, so we can share all the updates. We can also talk to you about your meditation type. Whoever has filled the form today also, we can keep in touch. That's what you join it from. We do a lot of other experiments, so very welcome. All of you are physiologists, so we can do HRV, stress analysis, so many things is possible. Thank you, Dr. Swapnil, also for your wonderful inputs.
Thank you very much, madam, again for your active participation, and means I can say experimentation, that we all went into a trance for 15 minutes. I think this was new experience, and we would like to take you again and again for a journey with us, and we invite you to guide us further.
Definitely. Surely.
Just share the video with all of you, and also going to the mail ID which you have registered, and in future we will also like to update you as different events. Again, thank you very much, and as there is no more questions, I think we can close the session for now. Again, thank you all. Thank you, madam, and happy 10th International Yoga Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.